Hi everyone, just a quick update on day 77 of the Vendée Globe. For those who have been following Mike Golding and I's discussion about the various strategies and options for the leading boats on Friday, you'll have noticed that there was this sort of just chat about whether to go north or south of the Azores and how to approach the Bay of Biscay and Cape Finisterre. Well, in the last 24 hours, these four boats have started to sort of lay out their strategy. And we can see the race leader currently, Charlie Dalin, who's, opted to remain south. He's closest to the finish. He's well out to the east, but in lighter breeze. And of course, his boat's more modern, so doesn't need quite as much wind as the other boats. Interestingly, Louis Burton, he sort of jibed up through the Azores and has been playing the kind of trying to stay in the better pressure. But my pick to watch at the moment is Yannick Bestaven, who's gone north of the Azores, and he's going to try and use the leverage that he's got. Of course, he's got 10 hours in the bank from his rescue of or being involved in the rescue of PRB. And when we look at the weather and the routing, that might just be enough because I've got him coming in about 4 or 5 hours behind the leaders, and that would certainly give him enough to take the race. So let's have a quick look at the weather and the routing, and you'll see what the thinking is. Okay, so this was the situation when we left it on Friday, and you could see Louis had taken this sort of fairly wide route round through the Azores high pressure ridge, and was trying to sort of continually put himself in the strongest pressure. And if we just run the tracker forward, so you'll see that was the situation of going through over the weekend, and then just watch Yannick. So Yannick dived up a long way to the north. He's gone up to sort of line himself to the top of the Azores with this big depression that's coming in behind. Louis put in a couple of jibes, as did Boris, and they've positioned themselves again, in the better pressure. But slightly surprising and out on a limb is Charlie Dalin. He's continued in the east. He's jibed quite late, and right now he's still doing very good speeds, but the boat is in lighter pressure than the others, and I do wonder that may be a costly strategy for him. He clearly is very sure about what he's doing. So let's just jump in and have a quick look at the weather. This was the situation as of lunchtime today, and I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see. Let's just move that down a touch so you can see what's going on. So we've got Yannick here. We've got Charlie Dalin over here, and you can obviously see the difference in pressure that they're both sailing at here. And then you've got Louis and Boris sort of following the same track. So that's current weather as it stands. But if you look at what Windy's got, is sort of positioned Yannick, and we'll show our routing in a minute. But quite a bit of separation between the two boats at the moment. So let's just run through to Monday lunchtime, and you can see there's this big depression, another storm coming in behind them, and I wonder if Yannick is just sort of lining himself up to get into the better pressure ahead of that front. We then go into Thursday, and you can see from that situation, there's all of the boats have sort of had to get north as quickly as possible. The real question is whether Charlie has left it a little bit too late, in my mind, to get north. And I could see that, whilst he's certainly on track to win and cross the line first, the real question in my mind is whether Yannick has done enough to stay in that pressure and close the gap. And obviously, he's got this 10 hours of in the bank in terms of that rescue of PRB, which could make all the difference. Okay, let's have a quick look. So that was Thursday, and then this is into Wednesday lunchtime, which this is the sort of time when the leaders are going to be into the Bay of Biscay, and not far from the finish. So that's Wednesday, sort of Wednesday late afternoon, early evening, and that's sort of when we're expecting the leaders to be in. But boy, it's going to be really close between all of those lead boats. Okay, so this was the routing that I did on expedition, and I've got Yannick's position, I've got Charlie's position, I've got Louis's position. Louis the blue boat, obviously Charlie's the black boat, and Yannick's the red boat. And if we just watch this through, you'll see. I'll speed it up a little bit, but you'll just see what happens. It seems that Louis and Charlie, effectively come together. They've ended up closing in on Cape Finisterre, and it's on the routing here, it's pretty light there. But just have a look at Yannick at the top. He's in great pressure. He's got a good angle, and he comes sort of flying in towards the end. And by the time that these two guys cross the finishing line, which is here, that's sort of Wednesday evening, Yannick is only about 4 or 5 hours behind them. So, enough to win the race. So that's it for tonight. There's certainly a hell of a race going on with this lead group, and I know that there's probably 4 or 5 boats in there that are still well in the mix. We focused on those 4 because of their various strategies. Keep an eye out for Yannick. He only needs to get back in this race with a little bit more pressure to be able to cash in his 10 hours, and he could still win the race.